1975, Ronnie was working a security detail for a warehouse in Connecticut. During his shift, he walked the building, the parking lot, and the fence around the property. During one of his rounds, he felt a pinch on his ankle. He was breaking in a new pair of boots, and he knew he'd spend the next few nights nursing sore feet. When he got home, the first thing he did was strip off those damn boots, and sure enough, he had a small red welt on his ankle. When he woke up the next morning, the small red welt had ballooned into a painful blister shaped like a bullseye. When he rubbed it, he felt a bump. He looked more closely. The bump was a bug, and it was alive. Ronnie grabbed a pair of tweezers, and when he pulled the bug out, it broke apart. A few days later, his joints started to ache and he felt sick. He thought he had caught the flu, but it wasn't the flu. In 1975, the small town of Old Lyme, Connecticut experienced an outbreak of a devastating new disease. Some people got rashes, some ran high fevers, others had painful swollen joints. Some people had all these symptoms, as well as headaches, dizziness, and shortness of breath. In severe cases, people were becoming delusional, experiencing psychosis, and becoming paralyzed. At first, doctors misdiagnosed the condition as a type of arthritis. They named it Lyme arthritis after the town that had the first outbreak. 2 years later, scientists finally connected Lyme arthritis to the bite of a deer tick. A type of single-cell bacteria called Borrelia was to blame for what's now known as Lyme disease. As the reports of symptoms came in, these cases were placed on a map. A disturbing picture started to appear. Ground zero was Plum Island. This was another disease spread by ticks. This also has Eric Traub's fingerprints all over it. But was the outbreak an accident? Or was the government conducting a test on the population without their knowledge? If it was a test, it wouldn't be the first time. In the 1930s, the Tuskegee experiment infected 400 men with syphilis to see how the disease affected black males. They were denied treatment. The U.S. government has infected prisoners with cow blood and exposed people to plutonium.
It really was the Kmart of human experimentation from 1951 to 1974.
Operation Sea Spray was a secret test in 1950 where the government dropped bacteria on the entire city of San Francisco. In 1966, the Army released bacteria into the New York subway to simulate a biological attack.
Hey, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere?
Project 112 and Project Shad infected thousands of military personnel with biological agents like BZ and nerve toxins like sarin gas.
The tests themselves were a lot of smoke. The planes would let out like a smoke or gas type of thing, and it would also cover the ship.
The crew was given gas masks and told not to worry.
They were exposed to toxic nerve gas at least 46 times. Nobody knows how many people were killed. The records are still mostly classified. And there are more, lots more. Tests without consent have been conducted as recently as the 1990s, many involving children. And that's just what's been exposed. Who knows how many more tests are still classified or if tests are still taking place?
We do know that some civilians were exposed in tests that occurred in Hawaii, possibly in Alaska, and possibly in Florida.
The military and intelligence community, of course, continue to deny any wrongdoing. They deny that bioweapon research was done at Plum Island, and they deny that Lyme disease was artificially created and released to the public. But denial is not good enough. We know the CIA and military violate orders time and time again, and we know they lie when they do it. So in 2019, Congressman Christopher Smith from New Jersey proposed an amendment to the 2020 defense bill.
For years, Mr. Speaker, books and articles have been written credibly asserting that significant research at Fort Detrick and Plum Island and elsewhere was conducted to turn ticks into bioweapons. Mr. Speaker, with Lyme disease and other tick-borne diseases exploding in the United States, an estimated 300,000 to 427,000 cases, new cases each year, and 10 to 20% of those people with chronic Lyme, Americans have a right to know whether or not any of this is true.
But what prompted this? Well, the bacteria that causes Lyme disease is called Borrelia burgdorferi, after Willy Burgdorfer, who discovered it. Now, Burgdorfer was widely known as a leading researcher in the scientific study of insects, and his discovery of Lyme disease was historic. But what's not widely known about Burgdorfer is that early in his career, he developed biological weapons for the U.S. military. Specifically, he weaponized ticks. And between 1966 and 1969, almost 300,000 research ticks